Honestly, I say, Minecraft. A Far Lands or Bust stream for your November 13th, 2023. Just like Twitter. Well, I mean, that 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 is failing for different reasons. We left off at 55,213 megabytes, as well as $2,363.34 for direct relief charity. We got a $7.34 donation from Memnarch at the end of the last stream that we are holding for today. Hold your questions. Hold your questions, but get your woofs ready. Woof! We did it. Let's grab that woof. Get rid of some stuff. And head west to the Far Lands here in Minecraft Beta 173. Well, I do need some coal, I suppose. It would be prudent for me to just gather... Okay, maybe not that much, but gather some coal as I see it. I've worked through all of the charcoal I had from the last F3 monument. Indeed. What is happening? My button stopped working. My W button, I've pressed it until it could press no more. There is charcoal in this venison. Yeah, that was yesterday's stream, wasn't it? All we did was watch YouTube videos. Look at this. We're seeing if we can't get learnt something about it. In all the flob streams and episodes and whatevers where we're talking about finding Kurt a hobby. Did woodworking ever come up in any of them? I don't think it did. I think that that's an out of left field one. Maybe it did and I just don't. Maybe I scoffed. Perhaps I scoffed. Get ready for a trombone toot. Told you. Pallet Hands, thank you for the donation. But yeah, the girlfriend, wife, whatever. Keeps coming home with various lumber, freshly cut lumber. Big old cross sections of trees. It was like, we can make a table out of this, or let's make some cutting boards out of this. So I can't just half-ass anything with what I have. I had to look up on the YouTube how to make a cutting board, and then we ended up down a rabbit hole of clickbait. Don't use mineral oil ever again on your cutting boards. Watch to find out. And then there's various planers. I started looking at planers, even just hand planers. There's so much going on with cheap hand planers that aren't plumb, whether they be electronic or manual. So, like, the cheapest one I could find where everybody's like, yeah, this one's like a decent beginner one is like 150 bucks. And the good ones are like $300. So yeah, Lethos says it's an expensive hobby if you're going to get serious about it. True, and the wood isn't the expensive part. The wood is free at this juncture. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at, like, of course, there's a bunch of holiday sales on the Ryobi tools. Buy one, get two free. Like, well, a router would be helpful with that. And maybe a die grinder. Yes? Harbor Freight has... Well, yes, Harbor Freight does have hand planers, but they're all terrible. They're not perfectly straight, and they gouge. They gouge! That's all. That's what I've been hearing and reading. True, and then there's a... I was looking... See? Everybody's like... Not, well, one person, Potamisium, is like... Cone Dodger got chisels at Harbor Freight that could have been flathead screwdrivers. And then screwdrivers that you just broke. Yeah, I was looking, and you might be able to find a used hand planer at an antique shop or a reuse store. And I was looking, and all the forums are like, that used to be the case, but now everybody knows that that's where you can get, like, a tip-top quality made one. So they buy them to eBay them. So now you got all these antique hand planers on eBay for $400. You want a whopped bud. But yeah, then you got those full tabletop planers that you throw the wood all the way through. It looks like a printer. But of course, those have like a maximum width you can deal with, and those are also like $300, $400, $600. Yeah, let's take it one step at a time. One step at a time here, perhaps. I mean, I still do have that other nuisance of a hobby of a car in the garage. Oh, I broke my boat. That needs to be addressed as well. If I'm gonna start woodworking, I'm gonna need another garage, or I'm gonna have to get rid of a Datsun. Your main concern when considering anything is what all of the limitations of every possible aspect are. Yes, that's me. Just make wood cars. That is me. I think about how is what I currently have going to limit me and make it impossible to even attempt such things as these. So yeah, that's where that's at. Oh, it's good times. It's good times for everybody, isn't it? What? Well, I mean, we have a couple orbital sanders and an angle grinder. So, like, we have stuff, but again, it's not the right... It's just, that gets in my brain. It is also very much me. I've only recently been able to get things started with less humming and hawing. Humming and hawing! I mean, I did buy a trombone. Y'all know how that's going. Brains are hard to deworm. Now my hobby is brain deworming. True, the limitations as far as the trombone is concerned is me. you can't buy an upgraded me at a store. Okay, that's pretty funny. Orbital Sanders opened the first KFC in space. That's well done. Oh, I'm down a half a heart. I mean, I'm down a and half a heart, not two half a heart. I'll take care of that before I get murdered by Wolfie. So yeah, we watched a bunch of YouTube videos. Learned something, maybe. And then we watched more 1800s cookery and found a very interesting way to spell omelet. Oh, I need dirt. True, we also learned why we shouldn't use mineral oil when making kitchen boards, except we didn't. Unless you want to. Unless it's all you got. Then it's perfectly fine. Probably. We did learn how to cook peas in a bag. We learned all about them pudding bags. Pudding. And we learned how not to stuff sausage with a hand stuffer. Good times. And it was one of my most watched streams yet. Anyway, before Memnarch loses patience, with their donation to charity, put that pudding cloth on your throne. I did pick up a free, it was like a toy cabinet chest, toy cabinet, toy shelf. Let's call it a toy shelf. But I picked it up for free off of the Craigslist. Didn't get murdered. For our kind of greenhouse, for storing my other kind of halfway hobby. Is that a term? Halfway hobby of gardening. Store more of that stuff in a better fashion than just screwing about. And maybe eventually it'll hold woodworking tools. I don't know. But anyway, Memnarch asks, got a favorite kind of tea? NFT. Flavored green or black loose leaf is my preference. I mean, I'm pretty sure we talked about this in regards to Willow Rose Dawn's gift to the P.O. Box, which was a bunch of loose leaf teas. I think out of that batch, I really like the Iranian black tea. I forgot what was special about it. But yeah, I don't know that I have a favorite. I mean, I do enjoy Earl Grey. Hot. But lately, like the caffeinated teas, because I'm normally drinking tea in the evening, in the late afternoon. The black teas with all their with the caffeine and whatnot doesn't agree with me and gives me like a headache or just makes me feel bloated or bad or something. So I'll go normally for like an herbal. Like the girlfriend got this turmeric ginger, which is kind of strong, and if you're using it in a white coffee mug, it'll stain your mug yellow. But it's like not caffeinated, but it's good. I don't really like just straight up chamomile, but like if it's mixed with something, like for some reason I like the throat coat brand of tea, which has just got like a bunch of junk in it. It's just like it's kind of spicy and peppery, but also smooth, and maybe there's like lemon and honey-ish sort of. That it Kurt Cold. Was it a first flush tea? No, I don't put it in the toilet. I don't know what that means. DIY dandelion tea. Can't say I've ever done that. It's like a grading system. I don't know. I would have to look back on the bags. But I think Willow Rose Dawn is like a tea expert of some degrees. And that's why she sent us teas. Loosed leafed teas. I mean, we have been growing like mint and stuff like that, which I don't see much of a purpose other than to put in teas, but we've not been putting it in our teas. It's just the plant we're growing. Yeah, I'm not huge on the green teas. The jasmine green tea is alright, but sometimes just the straight up green tea is too much, just like grass, like drinking grass. Not really my jam. Mint makes a lovely syrup. How do you make a mint syrup? Like a pancake syrup? Boil it with water and sugar. Interesting. Spoiders? So speaking of spoiders, a dessert or cocktail syrup. Oh, I see. Well, we don't drink, so that ain't gonna help us at all. I mean, I suppose it wouldn't be bad to have a mint syrup to put in tea. We'll brush our teeth with it. I use mint in cooking all the time. Drinking is a possible another possible hobby. Alcoholism. Yeah, I mean we've got gardening, got cars. we got trombone. What else have I been getting up to? Baking. Although my baking has been rather flat, literally, recently. Not getting the rise. I don't know how far I'm going to go into the Gundam world. I think that might be the one and done. As much as I enjoy that, some of those other ones. What else have I been up to? What else do I do? The lock picking is here and there. Whale watching, whale finding, whale spotting. I mentioned trombone. We got video games. You know how much I love video games. What else? There was something else. I'm like, oh yeah, I do that too, I guess. Now I completely forgot. Let's sleep on it. Gardening? I mentioned gardening already. What's another one on woodworking on top of that? Is it really woodworking though if I'm just like making a thing flat? Flatter and then calling it a cutting board? Video editing, you know I don't do that anymore. Unless the girlfriend needs me to for her work or school. And it's about fish. Wow, chicken just flew in my mouth. I don't particularly like video editing, especially since Adobe Premiere keeps crashing on me and telling me it's out of memory, even though I have 32 gigs. Like, I don't think a computer could have any more memory.
This isn't funny.
It is from this angle. 55 months. That feels like a long time, Kurt Clapp.
It's been a long time. Destroyer, 55 months is right. Much appreciated. Tub. Sticker sales. Sticker design and sales. Thumbnail. And I guess I do have this dog, too. That's kind of a hobby. That's a lifestyle. giving friends all of my old junk that I find. Like hours. Finally got the box full of Dale Earnhardt memorabilia and miscellanea. Yips. Boop. He says he's still, I haven't replied to him yet, but he said he can't wrap his head around how I had that much Dale Earnhardt stuff. And that's not even all of it. That was just the stuff that I could kind of flat pack. That wasn't the model cars. I don't know if I still have them, but there were a bunch of, like, memorial editions of magazines, like the Sports Illustrated or whatever in memoriam booklet. The Cross Boss. Oh yeah, I mean, I guess there's astronomy a little bit. I guess there's that stuff too. Binocular thievery and repair. Found it, fair and square. Neat. So many potential thumbnails. Building models out of literal junk like bottle caps and plastic pens. That's not models. That's called sculpture. That's art. Speaking of which, I was walking today, but there is a dude who on the seaside and the shoreline, on the waterfront, that I take Juno walking. I think he might be without home, which is just information and not judgment. But he basically what appears to be all day just balances like driftwood and junk and like scrap metal and bricks and stuff along the shoreline into like just balancing junk. Like I'm like, hey, that guy found his hobby. I'm the sucker out here still testing them all out. That guy has found a hobby. But yeah, he'll be out there all dang day holding stuff and like balancing it, and it's a thing. It's a thing that person does. Sorry, you're the making art out of junk just reminded me of that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Got a website. It's called stackofwood.com. It wouldn't be stack of wood. It'd be petering wood or the balance of wood. Precarious wood. Wood fulcrum. The wood fulcrum. That sounds like a type of club. So to answer your question, Memnarch, I'm not huge on teas, but those are the types of teas I like. Uh, Pallet Hands, with that donation that came in live, asked, do you like a clicky keyboard or a silent one? I don't know, was that clicky? I mean, this is, I mean, mechanical, keyboards suddenly became a gamer thing. But this is the Logitech, which uses their own Romer G. Or at least they did when I got this. And it's fine. But right next to me, because I do have computers on the floor, right next to me I have the Corsair Gaming, which I think uses red, very red keys. Which are the smooth ones, right? Not really clicky. I guess I've never used a clicky mechanical keyboard. Like, they can be clicky. It depends on how notchy the clicker is, I guess. I feel like I wouldn't like that, because it offers resistance. And my finger fatigue is already too great at this juncture. But yeah, I've got this keyboard out because I'm trying to figure out what I can do for the girlfriend. Which, at last... at where we left that off last was just start over from scratch because old computers can't run Windows 11 or something. I think I can make it work. Somebody in the Discord, whoever posted it before is going to have to remind me about that Windows 10 thing that they mentioned. Oh yeah, what was that one mouse? I had, like, the holy grail of the Logitech mouses. It was like the M808 or something like that. It was wired, but it eventually gave up the ghost, which I was pretty sad about. And they don't make them anymore, which is dumb and stupid. Oh, I need beds. But yeah, I've got the G502. And this keyboard is the G810. Which is, this is my second one. The other one still works, but the LED lights die. Which is annoying. As in, they cease to be. I have this one. I don't know why I replaced it. Well, I mean, I think I got one of these keyboards for free. The K70 Corsair. Kind of dirty. Money. Oh, wrong way. Yeah, I'm not. I don't do that much typing. I don't do that much like long form typing. Who I think really either benefit from or have a preference of like keyboard action. And like I know some gamers like swear by the membrane, the small chiclet kind of membrane keyboards, just because they're so soft and like fast to press. There was a company of high-end keyboards and mouses who like wanted to do a sponsorship with me, so they like sent me a whole slew of stuff. Mechanical keyboard, mouse, just to like try out. The one thing that was interesting is they sent me a hard mouse pad. It was like a plastic mouse pad that had like a grain on it. Not a grain, but like a texture on it. That actually worked very well. That worked very well. Sorry, I don't have it here. Except for the fact that after a while, the plastic wears down and becomes smooth. And then it becomes less effective. And then you have differing levels of texture or not texture on the mouse pad, which gives you an uneven response. But the thing that I didn't like, who was this? Phoenix was the name of the company. I don't even know if they're still in business. Feenix. A crazy gamer way to spell Phoenix. This mouse, it's too light for gaming. Like the Logitech and all like the gaming mices have like weights in them, which I've become used to. But it feels to me like the company just had and was making a bunch of just kind of normal high-ish end looking keyboards and mouses, and then just like said they're gaming, because there was really nothing gaming about them. It's also very wide. It's a good mouse for big hands. But I mean the keyboard was fine, although I don't think it used, I think it used like different, like some of the clicky keys maybe I didn't like too much. Yes, is it RGB? Then it's for gaming. But the thing I didn't like is that the mouse, it's a laser mouse, it has a high-pitched whine when you're not using it. Like when you're moving it and it's like active, it goes away, which maybe makes it worse because then it's on and off. But it just had a very high pitch, like 19,000 hertz. Like, and I like looked it up and like, oh, that happens sometimes with the capacitor or something. What? What? The laser dimming circuit. That's probably what it was. To dim the laser. But I'm like, hey, your stuff is nice. Thank you for sending me it. I mean, like, I would have felt bad if I took them. I mean, now that Logitech mouse and keyboards are that expensive. But yeah, they were pretty expensive for what they were, to be honest. So they sent me another one saying like, oh, maybe that's just a defective unit. But it had the same problem. And I'm like, and then I just stopped emailing them, and they stopped emailing me, and maybe they went out of business. I don't know. Long story short, now I have a whole set of. I got two whiny mouses and a mechanical keyboard from this company for freebies. If only I could turn that into a quality planer. Oh no! Rip another workbench. I definitely forgot it back where I made those beds. That's a shame. You know, and like I connect it. I give it to the girlfriend to use with the when she's using the laptop, and she doesn't notice it at all. I'm like, I immediately notice it when you're using it. Probably hear that across the house. So it's like definitely, if you've gone to many loud concerts or like NASCAR races without earplugs or ear protection, it might not be a problem for you. It might be out of your range of hearing. Tinnitus? I mean, that's what it sounds like, but without your ears making the sound and the mouse making the sound. You'll know you've gone too far when you hear a loud pop followed by a lifetime of silence. But yeah, I don't think the sound of my keyboard is one of my concerns. It's whether or not it makes any high frequency annoying background noise. Or if the stupid lights die behind it with age and use. I guess here's a question. The girlfriend saw a targeted ad for like, I forgot what they were called, but they're like everyday earplugs, but like not to like completely block out all sound, but they look like earbuds. I mean, they look like, you know, iPhone earbuds or whatever, but they're meant to like filter or just like quiet down sound. But there's no electronics. It's not like an active noise canceling thing or anything like that. I'm a little bit suspicious. Didn't those used to be called earplugs? Well, I mean, she has earplugs and hearing protection for using chainsaws and stuff like that. But she wants something just because she finds, like... Careful of her teachers, like, talk too loud, or, like, there's a lot of, like, background noise. And it, like, makes it difficult to concentrate during school. Are they earbuds with a hole in the middle? Yeah, kinda. It's more like a donut shape. And allegedly, according to the marketing materials, like, that donut shape acts as like a resonating chamber to like reduce the decibels of noises, but allow certain noises like voice to come through clearer. My friend finds them great for like conversations or where there's a lot of people, like a school or a classroom. I have my own brand of earplugs. I forgot what they were called. Can somebody Google donut-shaped earplugs? Sound deadening or something like that. Yeah, because I mean, the girlfriend, despite not being able to hear a high-pitched whiny mouse. Loop. Yeah, I think Loop. Loop is probably the name of it. I'm curious if they're the only one. Which then leads to more suspicion that it's just snake oil. Like, maybe no other companies are making these because they don't actually work. But yeah, the girlfriend definitely has an aversion to, like, loud noise. Which is, like, the reason why some of the fire alarm batteries were removed when I moved in. Like, that will ruin her day if a fire alarm goes off from burnt toast. And not, like, jokingly, but, like, literally. Like, it's kind of like an anxiety or a panic trigger. Is the best I could probably imagine an equivalent. But yeah, I didn't know. Potamisium, you said your friend uses something like that? I just wanted to know if there's some real world actual use case evidence. I mean, they're only like $35, but that's mineral oil money. There's more than one company making similar products. I'd assume so. Christmas gift. Yeah, I was looking at them like, is there like electronics? Do you got to charge them or anything? And it's like, no, it's just like a solid, well, not solid, but like a plastic earbud. No, it doesn't have a physical switch. There's like an insert. There's like I looked into this because there's various different types. But there's like an additional piece you can put into the donut to make the donut smaller, to like take another 5 decibels off or something like that. Not sponsored. But I mean, if you want to. Getting distracted by your neighbor who's trying to learn the trombone. The loop switch has a switch. Are you sure? I mean, I don't know. I didn't look at them all. It was very confusing. To know, like, which one is for what. Or if there is even any difference between any of them. And it's the same thing that they're just making into different colors and charging different amounts for. Hey, we got somebody out of their lurk. Thank you. I have a pair of loop earplugs for sleeping. They work pretty well. Sister-in-law, who has young children, has them as well. More for the overstimulation side of things, and she loves them. We did it, everybody. We outed a lurker, and we gained valuable insight into these loopa-doopa-doops. Yeah, that was like another one. There's like one for sleeping and one for hearing.
An anonymous user
protection.
gifted a tier 1 sub to Hylian Hero 93.
An anonymous gifter. Thank you for gifting that sub to Hylian Hero 93. Who now shall return to the lurk caves from whence they came. Alright. But yeah, I don't think the girlfriend wants the one for sleeping. He wants whatever the one is for, like, just lowering the volume of people's voices overall, and just, like, the overstimulation part. I mean, that is one of their marketing, like, for one of their modes, they're like, do you have kids? These are the ones you need. A door. Made just for me. Flare. Flare is another company. How do the prices compare? Mouses? Yeah, mouses. Oh, do some of theirs have active noise canceling? So some of theirs are powered? I mean, I guess hearing aids can kind of do the same thing. But you can, like, obviously adjust the volume. And even, like, the direction you're getting the sound. I mean, we're old, but I don't know that we're hearing aid old quite yet. How close to the far lands? Somebody hit him with an F3. There we are. As of last May, we are more than halfway there. By some amount. Yeah, I know. Hearing aids don't have to be age-related. I mean, I remember, I don't remember if I watched it or not, but Adam Savage, on his, like, tested vlogs, was talking about how he ended up getting a hearing aid and how it helps him in various scenarios. I mean, yeah, maybe I did watch it because he was talking about how there's, like, with what he got, there's, like, an app. So, like, if you are having a conversation with somebody at, like, a table in a restaurant, you can, like, run the app and put the phone down, like, in the middle of the table and, like, be able to then just hear your friend talking instead of the whole room. Hearing aids are covered by insurance starting next year. I mean, only if they're prescribed by a doctor, I'm assuming. Speaking of doctors, follow-up. Remember how I said I'd finally make an appointment with my doctor to, like, switch my insurance, or not my insurance, my prescriptions over to Mark Cuban's mail order prescriptions. After all this boondoggle I just had over this weekend. Guess what? Just take a quick guess. What? They're not closed for the rest of the year, but they have no appointments until next year. So, I mean, I suppose it's my fault, but that means I didn't use my insurance at all this year. I mean, I suppose with the exception of, like, whatever it may or may not. And I don't think it did save me any money on my prescriptions. So that's annoying. Because one of the reasons I switched back to this insurance was to get out of the community care system and into, like, a real hospital system. Why did they need an appointment just for swapping dispensers? Is that the store in the mall? Well, this is a different doctor. You see, I switched my insurance this year so that the doctor I had who prescribed this prescription is no longer on my insurance. But now this insurance is one that I had a couple years ago, which I already had a different doctor for. So I was thinking of going back to that different doctor, getting my free annual checkup, but then have him give my prescriptions to Mark Cuban. But now he doesn't even have any appointments left for the rest of the year. And I have to select a new insurance for next year. Yes, I got America. I got Freedom Fried. Well, yeah, so now I need to decide. Well, there's a whole other branch in the spokes. Is that a term? I just made it. In that now next year, because I'm married, I'm joyfully ensconced in wedditude. Instead of just having my own insurance, it's gotta be the both of us. Well, I gotta find insurance for two people. That is hopefully free or inexpensive. But, like, the main free one is back at the community health clinic place. Which the reason I switched off of them was because they had zero mental health anything available. So if I wanted to find a psychiatrist or social worker or something, that would all be out of pocket. Right, yeah, I mean, it is my fault for waiting, I suppose. But that's part of the symptoms of my disease. I can't win. Ah, sanctuary. Well, anyway, I don't know. I gotta talk to the girlfriend to see, like, what she thinks. Although she has no experience. She's never had insurance. Before I got to her. Well, that's a real bummer. So on the one hand, it could be free going through the community healthcare place. And true, I could get that doctor to put the prescription to Mark Cuban. But then we're stuck with the community healthcare, which is less than ideal for most things, especially mental health care. But it'll be mostly or entirely offset by the whatever, you know, the tax grants earning situation. Or I go for the real healthcare, which might cost some money, but also have a lot less or a lot bigger deductibles and copays. And then I end up paying $30 a month for it, which is cheap, but I still didn't use it. I just burned that money. Anyway, that's fun. That's a good time. That's a real howdy doody of a situation to be in. Yeah, it's really dumb. Did they not think that putting everybody on the same yearly schedule would lead to the very bottlenecks? I mean, then again, that was probably a bonus so that people could point and say, see, nationalized healthcare doesn't work. There's this bottleneck that we totally created to prove this point. And because we still completely spread and underfund the whole scenario. Thanks, Obama. But who wants to be not on the same times and holidays as their friends? No, that's not... I'm talking about the health insurance. Resetting every year. On the first of the year. For everybody. That's what I was talking about. And then also only limited... You can only make a choice or change at the beginning of the year as well. Unless you meet these special requirements. I mean, getting married was one of them, and I could have, like, already gone through this, but even so, I would have still had to gone through it at the end of the year anyway. So we would have gone through the trouble of changing insurances and getting the girlfriend on insurance, only to have to do it all over again, like I'm doing right now. So that was nuts to that. Your deductible was going to go up from 500 to 2,500 in the new year? That's low. Like, my deductibles are like 8,000. Granted, I'm not ponying up for the gold tier, the platinum tier of being able to live. Ah, your insurance is through your company. True. And isn't it great how this all even improved that type of health insurance? I guess I have a boat, so I'll use it.
Are you on mineral oil or tung oil tier?
think there's too much resin in this cutting board. Woof. At least with the marketplace, there's a choice. Kind of a choice. Although I don't know what the case is now. I don't know if any of you are in Arizona, but I remember when I was leaving Arizona, like their marketplace went from like 5 choices to like 2 companies because everybody pulled out because Arizona, being Arizona, wasn't like funding anything. It was like, Obama. Here in Washington last year, which is how I was able to get like a semi-decent insurance for cheap, the state actually, in addition to the federal deductions, has their own like grants for insurance premiums. I know, I was gonna say Nicolas Cage. I mean, that's even before, like, this is like, just give me whatever doctor. I'm not even making a doctor choice. I'm just like, give me insurance. Yeah, I don't know what happened in Arizona since then. For we lowly self-employed. Up. All right. On that resounding disappointment, let's back up the world and call it a Farlands. $55,285 point something 8 megabytes.